10th day of the 10th month and my 10th speech. Wow. I want to tell you about this because I'm really excited to be graduating from the Competent Communicators Manual, the CC Manual. This has been a great 2+ years for me, and I want to share this path with you because I want all of you to realize what an inspiration you've been to me. Your comments are like little golden nuggets of wisdom that you've shared with me along the way. It's helped me become better, and I hope those nuggets of wisdom help all of us become better. When you think about it, twice a month, 20 to 30 of us gather in this room at a very early hour of the morning, and we share thoughts and we share ideas, we laugh, we look at each other and try to create a better person before we go out that door. That's so inspiring when you think about it. We're all just here to make each other better. That's pretty cool. A little over 2 years ago, Maureen Foster invited me to TGIF. She said, why don't you come to this meeting with me? I think you'd like it. I've given speeches before, and I've given the canned presentations, right? We all have during our lifetime. And she said, come and join us. We're a lot of fun, we're energetic, even though it's a little early. She was a great salesman on that part. But she said, even though it's a little early, you leave here with a nice little kick in your step, and it's a good way to start the weekend. She said we clap a lot for each other, which we do, but it was really a lot of fun to get that invitation. I was so nervous when I walked into the room because I thought, what could I even offer to this group of people? I learned how funny everybody was and how energetic everyone was and ridiculously smart. I thought, what the heck can I contribute? More importantly, what am I going to glean from this? And I was really intrigued and really excited. I was nervous, but I knew I was in the right spot. I was also anticipating a job change, and I needed some help with some skills. And I thought, well, I've given the canned presentations, and then I saw the CC manual, and I thought, really? I have to comply with all these rules and objectives and things? I thought, oh boy, I'm in trouble. Well, the first icebreaker came faster than I thought it would, and I came up to the front of the room, and my knees were shaking so violently. I knew the people in the back of the room could see it, and I was so embarrassed. But I just took a deep breath, literally, and I did not breathe for 5 to 7 minutes. I just launched, and I didn't breathe, seriously. I sat down afterwards, and I was exhausted. Well, you get exhausted if you don't breathe for 5 minutes, just as a clue. So I was so surprised at the comments that I received on the little white strips of paper. That just really floored me, and I was really encouraged afterwards, and I thought, this is really great. And I think that's what surprised me most about this group of great people, is that the evaluations is really where we learn a lot. The variations of speeches also surprised me. For example, Maureen gave us a speech on what it was like to be a dumb blonde. Now, we know she's not a dumb blonde, but it was so hysterical. We just laughed, and it was a great speech. Sharon Friedman gave us a speech on the Pledge of Allegiance. It just really blew me away, and I still talk about how that started out as a sales gimmick. It just really surprised me. We've had Mark Maish give us inspirational speeches about the pebble in the pond. John Ruck constantly entertains us with his voices and his animal noises from the wilderness. I think the most emotional speeches are where we really learn, because we get to peek at each other's hearts and souls a little bit. I'll never forget Tom Phillips, who's no longer part of this group, but Tom gave us a speech on how his best friend, his brother, survived being in prison. And then we learn about Connie Schuyler and her path on becoming a lawyer, and how she was later termed or coined from one of her clients as one of the fancy people. It was so inspiring and really heartfelt, really touching. And those are the things that inspire us, because if we take a little bit of each of us and the best parts of us and throw it into this room, undoubtedly we're going to walk out of here being better people. We've learned about golf from Doug Schluter. We've learned about shooting from David Janis. And funny, after that speech, David and I were talking, and we have a mutual friend that we've both known for years, my husband. And now we have a different level of friendship. So what I've gained out of this is that we've grown friendships. Whether we gather at a bar or a restaurant or a baseball game or sadly at a funeral, we learn from each other. We become better cheerleaders. We become learners. We become teachers. We become sources of inspiration for each other. Now I'll tell you about my book. Yes, I'm very nerdy, and yes, this is very anal. I get it, I understand it, but this is what you have helped me build, a better version of myself. This is you guys over the past 2 years. Again, yes, very nerdy. But what you've done on those little slips of paper have helped me become a better person. And I've kept those since I started here. And even though those slips of paper are just little and tiny, some of the best comments have come from them. And I have to credit Karen Sylvester for constantly reminder, and maybe she should remind us almost at every meeting, don't put just great job. Tell me why it was a good job. Tell me what I can do to be better. The devil's in the details, right? So we want to be better, we want to improve. So whenever you get those little bits of paper, really read them and go through them. I do it when I've been Toastmaster. That helps me with organizational flow, running a meeting, being careful about what each role is within the meeting. Well, I don't just simply take that from this room and forget it. It helps me in my day-to-day business life. Those things are important, or how I can improve for my next meeting that I know I'll have to run at work. So when I gave my icebreaker speech, when I didn't breathe for 5 to 7 minutes, Mark Maish wrote in here, gosh, there are 10 new subjects in there and 10 great topics for the next speech. Good luck. And I was so glad you wrote that, because I didn't breathe, I didn't do anything except got up, said it, and sat down. I would have never gone back and looked at that speech and said, oh yeah, there are 10 topics in there, and that really helped me a lot. On my second speech, when it was organizing your speech, Chad Austin wrote a very nice statement. He said, I understand why you're so organized and why you got the job. Well, it wasn't, and it was a very sweet comment, and I appreciated it more than you knew. But it wasn't just that. It was table topics that helped me get that job, because they put me on the spot during my interview and said, you have to give a presentation at 5 minutes in length and you have 2 minutes to prepare, after I'd already interviewed with 7 people. So it was pretty intense. But I thought, oh, this is just table topics, I can do this. And I got the job. Creating a family cookbook was really important because Jessie wrote a comment. She said, great job, but you should have included the website of creating the cookbook. By the way, it's www.familyandfriends.com. But that was a really important statement that has impacted me for a long time, because it taught me to tie up the speech and bring it all together. So every time I present out in the world outside of this room, as well as in this room, I say, did I include the website? And that's my clue to think back to Jessie, going, wrap it up. Brad Plum has reminded me not to drift out into the room like we all want to do, because I feel so far away from you guys. I think 2 of the most important comments I received were from our youngest visitors. Julie Spalding's daughter, Emerson, told me I did a great job on a good topic on organ donation. And Reese Foster told me that I did an awesome job. And I don't tell you that because of my accomplishment. I tell you that because these are really bright young ladies who really inspired me. And it was very, very well received, and I'll never forget that. So on this 10th day of the 10th month, as I approach the 10th minute of my 10th speech, I want to say thank you for all that you've done to inspire me and help me, not only in this room, but out in the world. You've made me a better person. So let's take just a moment. Let's look to our left and look to your right.
So we're not looking at each other.
The inspiration is sitting right next to you. Thank you.
Wow.